Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I'm here to give a review for the latest movie from Richard Linklater, Hitman. So Austin's own Richard Linklater is back again when he's teaming up with movie star in the making Glen Powell for a really fun, really cool movie about a fake hitman. So it is loosely based, and I mean loosely based as in all caps, italicized, loosely based on the real story of Gary Johnson, who was just a mild-mannered psychology professor who would moonlight as a guy who would like assist the police, the New Orleans Police Department in these sting operations. He would do sound and camera equipment for it. But then they have him go out as their undercover sting operator and playing a fake hitman people they would do the whole routine of trying to hey, you got this, hey, you want to do the job, we want to take him out and all that, and here's the money, here's the money under the table. And a lot of, and what's really interesting, and the angle that this movie is going for was very interesting because it's Glen, it's Gary who's playing fake hitman, and he does this. It does a whole big bit of the first third is him really finding his groove and showing that he has a talent for this kind of performance, and him as a psychology professor. It's a great way to a good excuse to interject all these philosophical ideas every so often about your personality and your id and your ego, and how you perceive yourself and project yourself out to each other, the performances that you give in every day, the social masks you wear, because the person that you are to say the people you work with or the people you interact at your workplace is different from the person you are with your family, your closest friends, and it leads into how other people's perception of yourself can have an effect on you, and even an effect on your morals as well. And part of the great fun of this movie is that it has a lot of influences of other famous hitman stories, and it plays up that the hitman character, the persona of the hitman, is so played up and so romanticized in movies, especially American movies, that Gary is really able to sort of take advantage of that in these performances. It's kind of just mocking the idea that some guy that you met through the dark web or whatever is really willing to risk the death penalty and kill somebody for retail price. You want me to kill somebody for $5,000? At least think of adding another zero to the price tag. Personally, if you want me to kill somebody, you got to absolutely give me escape to a beach in South America money. At the minimum, that's the lowest I would go. But and all these performances that Gary puts on there, he's clearly having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of like the dream role of any actor. You get to dress up, you get to show off your range, and he has a lot of fun with it. And what's interesting is that he reads out the suspect's profile, and he tailors these characters to what they are already looking for. Just finishing the picture that they were already painting. And some of these are clear send-ups of specific people or these pop culture analogs. One is just clearly this Russian hitman. He's got this black trench coat. He's got this black hair. He always wears gloves and smokes. And another one is he's literally just doing Patrick Bateman. and Glen Powell is absolutely up to the task of this, because this man is a movie star. This is a definite star vehicle. And the whole time I was watching this, I kept thinking, this man would have absolutely dominated the 1990s movie scene. He has the screen presence and looks of a Tom Cruise, but he still maintains this everyman affability of a Bill Paxton. Although I would say that the look of Gary Johnson, the character, is a bit of an overcorrected, nebbish put on. Not to say, like, I don't think that Glen Powell is too pretty to play dorky, but it does kind of have it does feel like the male equivalent of the nerd girl who like takes off her glasses and ponytail to reveal that she was hot the whole time. But that being said, Powell is clearly having a ball here, and he's really showing that he does have the juice. He is kind of like what people were saying about Brad Pitt being a character actor with a leading man's face. But things get spicy when Gary meets a potential client named Madison, who is looking to have her abusive husband killed, and he meets Madison as Ron, he's just exuding all of this like Harrison Ford style masculine swagger. You know, he's got this boyish grin. He's just like he's walking around like he completely owns the room. He has a leather jacket that's just perfect. Like some of the clothes he wears is like really fitting for him. And Madison and so eventually they strike up this relationship, and Madison sees him as one thing and him another. And she's really just kind of like really turned on by Ron as, you know, this kind of like masculine protector figure, and she's really drawn to Ron as this hitman, and he's like putting on all these airs and telling her these like made up stories about, you know, what his job is and how he does the hits. And she's clearly into that, and he's into her because, like, I mean, look at them, they're like objectively pretty people. And Madison is played by Adria Arjona, who I really enjoyed her as Bix from Andor, and I really didn't think she had something like this in her. And the more that is, you know, and the more that like is shown with her and Ron, the more that they like play up their relationship and lean into like the sort of like performance aspect, because like this is he's like working with the cops and he's lying to her, and it's a relationship built on a foundation of lies, classic movie stuff. But they play up this like performance aspect of her, and even the role playing with her. And like there is a scene where she's like role playing in like a sexy way, and it's like, ooh, wow, this movie is sexy. It has this real great sex appeal to it, both in like not just like two pretty people that you obviously want to see bang, but the way that like Madison sort of like brings out this possibly brings out this side of this Ron personality out of Gary. And it's sort of asks this question of like, does Gary see himself, does Gary want to change to Ron? Is Ron to keep up with this relationship because, well, she's just gorgeous and obviously, or is Gary wanting to be, or is Ron more of the man that Gary wants to turn into he's able to kind of like it touches on ideas about like Gary finding sort of self-actualization with himself as Ron, and even like finding a sexual confidence, because like when he's introduced, he's like, oh, he's just a mild-mannered school professor. He drives a Honda Civic. He like lives alone with his two cats. But here this is like an actual alpha male. You know, he's not none of this like fucking Andrew Tate shit. He's not putting on any airs. He just exudes this like swaggering confidence that you like Madison, you kind of just like carry along, you just kind of get swept up with, because he's actually like really, he's just that good. And the movie itself kind of also does kind of get carried away with that charm and that sexiness to it. But then like the more that the idea of their like the charm and their relationship sort of gets like intertwined their like unethical relationship gets intertwined with this, and it evolves into this more noirish crime murder story in a very natural way. Right, and there's actually some like real great really fun turns that happen. I don't want to give too much away, but there is a turn in the final reel of the movie that had me going, ooh, interesting. But I didn't think that it really had that shift of stakes that turn would have resulted with. You know, it is like how it plays out. It is disturbing for a Linklater movie, especially because like because they're typically so low stakes. They're very, very personally and very breezy, and clearly you're like invested in the romance between Ron and Madison. But the more that happens, the more that carry on, you see how the Ron persona is kind of his performance as Ron is kind of maybe wanting to change him, and there's some. And then you see that Madison may have been lying about certain things, and again, don't want to give too much away, but the way that things shift and turn, it honestly could have gone darker if it wanted to. And it probably could have been a little more acidic if it wanted to. I can easily see this like leaning more into like something of a double indemnity, maybe not quite to the level of Double Indemnity, but definitely like sort of taking a nod from that movie. And I would say that maybe the bow that it wraps up with is maybe a little too neat, maybe a little too much of a fairy tale. But as far as that goes, it's clearly like that's clearly not what it's aiming to be. It's not aiming to be like too acidic, just kind of like giving you this like relationship and giving you these performances and like keeping these ideas floating in the back of your mind and the whole way through, and kind of like really like asking who does Gary want to be? What is Gary actually self-actualizing? And just it's never like outwardly stating I mean it's like stating its theses, but it's not like it leaves enough on it just leaves enough on the table to let you sort of absorb and like sort of decide for yourself how to feel about it all. But as far as like the whole experience goes, this is an absolute delight to watch. It was laid back. It's cool. It's like a lot of Linklater movies. It's just kind of here to have a good time, and I absolutely did have a great time. Between like Glen Powell, all just like really showing his stuff, and and it's really funny too. Like a lot of the performances that he gives as these fake hitmen is really colorful. It's full of there's a lot of character, and a lot of the like bit parts from what I assume might be local talent feels very genuine. A lot like that's what I love so much about Linklater. That none of these characters, whether they be major or minor, they never feel fake. There's always this level. There's always this like genuine authenticity to the world and the people in this world, and they're so much fun. I just kind of want, again, I like a lot of Linklater movies. I just want to hang out with them. I want to get to know them and get to know all their little quirks. And also, this movie has like some really wonderful needle drops. I have to really give credit to the music supervisors here. There's some really choice needle drops by the great Alan Toussaint, and yeah, it's fantastic. I wish I saw this in a theater. This absolutely deserves to be seen in a theater. I don't, and like yeah, I love the convenience of watching this on Netflix, but I really think a movie like this, for how funny it is, for how fun it is, and how cool and how sexy it is, this really deserved to have a bigger theatrical release. Because I don't want this to disappear into the depths of Netflix content, because a movie like this really deserves to be a bigger hit. It's fun, it's breezy, it's a great time. I think it deserves a strong 7 to a light 8. I had a blast with this, and I really hope you do too. And yeah, that's that's my thoughts. Comment below. What did you think of Hitman? Do you also think do you think Glen Powell really does have the makings of the movie star? He does have the face for it. And what would you think is your favorite Linklater movie? I really need to like go back and watch some of these, but I really love the Before trilogy. Also, I'm a big Boyhood stan. I'm a real Boyhood truther. Love Boyhood. But also apparently I found out not to keep it, but I found out like 2 hours ago that he's doing an adaptation of Sondheim's Merrily We Go Along, and he's actually doing it over the course of 20 years, like with Boyhood, which is insane to me because are you sure you even have another 20 years in you? That's a commitment. Like, man, I gotta see what that's like. But yeah, that's Hitman. I am Zach. I love movies. I have a lot more movies to watch, and I hope you watch movies too, because who doesn't love movies? And I will see you later.